from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital. This is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, asked judges to maintain integrity of the judiciary and remain fair and firm in their judgments. President Bola Tinubu to present the 2024 appropriation bill to the National Assembly on Wednesday as Federal Executive Council approves 27.5 trillion naira for the 2024 budget. And the House of Representatives is set to convene a town hall meeting to enable citizens contribute to the defense process of the 2024 budget.
On business news tonight, President Bola Tinubu reappoints Nile Kyari as Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited amid upcoming changes to the state's oil firm board.
On sports news tonight, Super Falcons duo Azizat Oshola and Chiamaka Nadozie are still in the race for the 2023 Africa Women Player of the Year Award as CAF cuts down 30-player shortlist down to 10.
And from Abuja, Deputy Governor of Edo State formally announces his intention to contest for the Edo ticket on the platform of the People's Democratic Party.
And in international news from London, Qatar has announced that an agreement has been reached to extend the humanitarian truce for an additional 2 days in Gaza.
We begin from the judiciary, where the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, is asking judges to maintain the integrity that the judiciary is known for and remain fair and firm in their judgments. Justice Ariwoola was speaking at the opening of the special session of the 2023-2024 legal year and conferment of Senior Advocates of Nigeria on 58 legal practitioners in Abuja. Our judiciary correspondent, Emanuela Ekele, reports.
The ceremonial courtroom of the Supreme Court comes alive with the conferment of Senior Advocates of Nigeria on 58 lawyers. They are joined by family and friends. In attendance are former Chief Justices of Nigeria, retired Justices of the Court, and other top government officials. The justices led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria arrive. The new Sikhs thereafter take the oath of allegiance.
In the capacity of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and to that end,
the CJN uses the occasion to address recent happenings in the judiciary. While pledging to safeguard the rule of law, the trust and confidence of the public, the CJN reiterated the determination of the judiciary not to be overwhelmed by the sentiments of the public in their decisions.
the law remains the law, no matter whose interest is involved. In all we do, as interpreters of the law, we should endeavor to sever the strings of emotion from logic and assumption from fact. We should never be overwhelmed by the actions or loud voices of the mob.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, wants the National Judicial Council to intensify efforts on appointing more justices to the Supreme Court.
I would, however, like to use this opportunity to urge the leadership of the National Judicial Council to fast-track the process of achieving a full complement of the Supreme Court and to also concurrently put in place the process of filling the consequential vacancies that will be occasioned at the Court of Appeal to avoid undue delay and minimize disruptions at that level.
The president of the Nigerian Bar Association speaks on the challenges facing the judiciary in recent times.
That is weak, corrupt, and unreflective of the people's aspiration is irrelevant to the people and doomed to collapse with time. All these, I must say, can only be achieved where there is synergy between the bench and the bar. Acts of professional misconduct by members of the bar must be condemned and punished.
A new silk, Mr. Abiodun Olaleru, has a word of advice to other upcoming.
It is without the planning, without the hard work. I suspect that for most people, this day may not have come. So it's important for the younger ones coming behind us to always understand and cherish the value of hard work, and to know that there are no shortcuts in life.
If the assurances of the Chief Justice of Nigeria is anything to go by, many Nigerians will expect a quick dispensation of justice and full confidence in the judiciary. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
Barring any last-minute changes, President Bola Tinubu will on Wednesday, November the 29th this year, present the 2024 appropriation bill to a joint session of the National Assembly, and that's according to the leadership of the federal legislature. Now, meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council has approved an appropriation bill of 27.5 trillion naira for the year 2024. This follows the review of the medium-term expenditure framework and the fiscal policy to use an exchange rate of 750 naira to $1 as against 700 naira and a benchmark crude oil reference price of $77.96 or $77.96 a barrel as against $73.96 per barrel proposed in the MTEF recently passed by the National Assembly. Our State House correspondent Emperor Simon reports.
Before the commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting, President Bola Tinubu swears in 8 new permanent secretaries at the council chamber of the presidential villa, Abuja. That done, the president chairs the FEC meeting. In attendance are Vice President Kashim Shettima, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, ministers and senior aides to the president. After several hours, State House correspondents are briefed on some of the outcomes of the meeting, including the review of the medium-term expenditure framework by FEC and the approval of the 2024 appropriation bill.
Two of the important decisions was to use an exchange rate of 750 naira to $1, and also a benchmark crude oil reference price of $77.96. The Federal Executive Council approved the 2024 appropriation bill and the presentation of such to the National Assembly by His Excellency, Mr. President. The bill has an aggregate expenditure of 27 trillion 500 billion.
FEC also received the presentation from the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms as it gave approval for the installation of new security gadgets in some international airports aimed at reducing the processes involved in clearing passengers.
There was financing of $1 billion, concessional financing, 25 years, 8 years moratorium, at about the same 4.2% per annum, which was approved by the African Development Bank for this administration, and really it was a recognition of the macroeconomic measures that have been taken.
It's for the approval of the award of contract for the supply and installation of customized explosive and narcotics detection screening systems with remote and dual view for the international airports of Abuja, Lagos, Kano, Port Harcourt, and Enugu at 3,233,600,000, inclusive of 7% VAT.
FEC also received a draft National Human Rights Periodic Review report presented by the Attorney General of the Federation. The report is expected to be presented to the United Nations come February 2024. From the Presidential Villa, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Staying with the 2024 budget, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Abbas Tajuddin, says the House will convene a budget town hall meeting to enable citizens contribute to the 2024 budget defense process. He stated this at a retreat organized for chairmen and deputy chairmen of the House of Representatives. Our correspondent, Terry Kumi, reports that the Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, who delivered a goodwill message at the event, highlighted the pressure the collapse of local government administration is heaping on federal legislators.
The arrival of the House Speaker and the Chief of Staff to the President heralds the commencement of the one-day retreat organized for chairmen and deputy chairmen of the House of Representatives committees. The retreat, which is aimed at improving legislative performance through effective committee management, is organized in collaboration with Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, the European Union, and Yaga Africa.
There are several misconceptions about the National Assembly that the committees can help in rebuilding public confidence in citizens. And so for us at Yaga Africa and our partners, we hope that this retreat will deal with issues relating to how to position committees to engage effectively with citizens.
The Chief of Staff to the President and immediate past Speaker of the House laments the challenges faced by lawmakers in the absence of effective local government administration.
The collapse of local government administrations across the country has created a situation where constituents look to their legislative representatives to fill the gap and perform municipal functions in their various communities.
He charges the committee chairmen on effective discharge of their oversight responsibilities.
More than any other arm or institution of government, the Parliament depends on the public's goodwill to be effective. Therefore, the legislature must ensure that its investigative authority is never used in such a manner as to suggest abuse of power or other base objectives.
In declaring the event open, the Speaker highlights the challenges faced by committees in the course of carrying out their oversight functions, as he announces a first-of-its-kind idea to improve the budgeting process.
Committees face several challenges that impair their overall effectiveness. These include a high turnover rate and its attendant effect on legislative expertise. As a result, critical knowledge and expertise lost in the process. As we expect to receive the 2024 appropriation bill in the next coming few days, I wish to state that the House will convene a budget town hall meeting to enable citizens to make inputs into the 2024 budget appropriation.
The retreat is crucial as lawmakers prepare for a rigorous budget defense process in the coming weeks. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
In other stories, the Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Iware II, is calling for the promotion of diversity and unity, which he believes is key for the development of the country. The foremost traditional ruler, who's on his first visit to Lagos since he was crowned, made the remarks during a visit to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State at the Lagos House Marina. The monarch also attributes the emergence and victory of President Bola Tinubu to Providence, urging everyone to support him for Nigeria's success.
Your Excellency, we want to repeat again our congratulations to Mr. President. We are happy that it's all over now. It has gone to the end of the road. Whatever controversies or objections or whatever cannot go beyond that. But God has ordained that President Tinubu will be the president. There was no need for always running to court and everything. I hope Nigeria will be able to come up with a system whereby issues will be resolved than dragging whenever general elections or presidential elections, are carried out. So it's dragging, and things we were hearing, we were not happy about. Whether it's true, whether not true, but president is president. He's my in-law.
I know.
I like peace, tranquility. We're all one. We're all together. We are all Nigerians. And that's why it's important for Nigerians to know that diversity is important, is very, very good for Nigeria.
Meanwhile, his host, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, in his response, assures the monarch that Lagos State under his watch will continue to be home to everyone, irrespective of ethnic, religious, or political affiliations.
On behalf of Mr. President, we want to thank you for your fatherly role, for your prayers, for your best wishes for his government, and I'm sure that he will not disappoint you. He will do everything possible to ensure that the real dividends of democracy, that it helps our country to reduce the poverty in our land, to give us a new sense of hope, and to redefine social economic development. In fact, while I was with him, he was actually tiptoeing and looking at his budget, that he's fine-tuning it, and so he's been very, very busy. So I just had to crash into it, and we had our own conversation. I want to say to you, sir, that we're beginning to see some of his interventions. Just last week, we saw another quarter of GDP growth in the country, right? Where the GDP growth has improved from what it was the last 1 and 2 quarters. The third quarter looks very, very well, but we said to him that he still has to do a lot more. So we're believing that with him at the helm of affairs, and like you said, sir, he has clear sight to govern well, and I will believe that he will do a good job. For us here in Lagos, we're the shoulder and the neck of the country, and we'll continue to ensure that Lagos remain home to a lot of people. And I'm sure to some of your in-laws that have also greeted me, everybody, we will make the place, the ambience worth the while for them.
In part 2 after the break, in a masterclass with young entrepreneurs taking part in Channels Television's Funded Forward initiative, Chief Executive of Financial Derivatives Bismarck Rwanda expresses satisfaction with the quality of individuals taking part in the project. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, asked judges to maintain the integrity of the judiciary and remain fair and firm in their judgments. President Bola Tinubu to present the 2024 appropriation bill to the National Assembly on Wednesday as Federal Executive Council approves 27.5 trillion naira for the 2024 budget. The House of Representatives is set to convene a town hall meeting to enable citizens contribute to the defense process of the 2024 budget. And Qatar announces an agreement to extend the humanitarian truce for an additional 2 days. Channels Television's social enterprise show, Funded Forward, is gradually winding down, and in the next 2 episodes, a winner will be announced at the official grand finale of the show. The reality program, designed to nurture the next generation of social enterprises driven by Nigerian youth, features 12 young entrepreneurs who will eventually be trimmed to the top 3 and each will receive prize packages according to their final rankings. As part of activities lined up ahead of the grand finale, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company Limited, Mr. Bismarck Rawani, who held a masterclass session with the young entrepreneurs, said he's impressed with the quality of individuals competing for the grand prize in the Channels Television's original television series.
I think they're all very good, and I'm not to make a judgment. Each of them had their strengths, but the one thing I noticed was the willingness and ability and keenness to learn. When you see people who are smart and are willing to ask questions, it tells you that there's a lot more for them to get to the ceiling. So I was very impressed, and it gave me a lot of hope for young Nigerians and the Nigeria of the future. I was pleasantly surprised, right? It was like I preaching to the choir. The reality is that these were already people, and they've been in this class for a long time. These are people that are grounded because there are many models, and I think the finance model is the last model. So what we tried to emphasize was, one, the impact of external policy on their business, the impact of competitor moves on their business, the fact that there's a link between political policy and market views, and more than anything else, there's an integration between the Nigerian economy and the rest of the global economy. Every success story is bound to be copied, cloned. So it means that as long as you are successful, right, other people are going to come into the business. And the more people are in the business, the more the intensity of rivalry. And that reduces your profit margins and makes it difficult to survive. So for you to survive, you have to reinvent yourself from time to time and not rest on your laurels. I think that was very important. But I also try to emphasize the impact of exogenous risks. There could be a policy change. You could be producing from a particular location. Then all of a sudden, you hear on the news that that road has been blocked for the next 6 months for repairs. All of a sudden, your goods cannot get to the market. So I emphasize that, please, whilst you may be good as a technocrat in what you're doing, please always listen to the news.
Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Chief Wale Olanipekun, has called on wealthy Nigerians to come to the aid of the vast majority of Nigerians who are poor in the interest of humanity and peace. The legal practitioner spoke at his home community in Ikere Ekiti in Ekiti State during the 27th Wale Olanipekun Scholarship Scheme and 4th Empowerment Program of the Wale Olanipekun Foundation. The state governor of Ekiti, Mr. Abiodun Oyebanji, who was in attendance, commended Chief Olanipekun for sustaining the program over the years.
This outdoor tent in the Ikere community of Ekiti State is packed with the young and old, including students, traditional rulers, and others for the 27th Scholarship and 4th Empowerment Program of the Wale Olanipekun Foundation. The Senior Advocate of Nigeria and company of Governor Abiodun Oyebanji, Senate Majority Leader Koyemi Bamidele are welcomed by guests who had made earlier entrances. And not too long, the governor, on behalf of the foundation, presents financial grants to students, youth entrepreneurs, and palliatives to the elderly.
On behalf of Wale Olanipekun Foundation, this is presented to you. Please make sure you use it very well.
The people of Ikere kindly accept this as my own token contribution to the Wale Olanipekun Foundation scheme.
Senator Koyemi describes Chief Olanipekun as a hero and mentor.
Chief Wale Olanipekun gives back on a daily basis. He gives back in every area of life. He's a mentor to many.
The state governor says the learned silk represents inspiration and is a pride to the state.
I can attest to the fact that Chief Olanipekun is a very hard-working man, and is a man that is ready to share what God has given him with humanity. And he's not doing this because he's coming to contest for any election like us. He gives to people that cannot even give back to him.
The former chairman of the body of benchers reflects on the essence of life, maintaining that benevolence is at its core.
Let us show kindness to others. Let us tell others that we love them. And the only way you can do is this. If you have 1,000, take 1 naira out of it. That's the way it is. So it is not when you become a millionaire or billionaire that you can do that.
start from humble beginnings. We started this in 1996, and God has been so kind.
This fund is a seed given to us to plant, and once you eat up your seed, you won't be able to reap at the time of your harvest.
The Wole Olanipekun Foundation is a privately funded, not-for-profit philanthropic organization committed to improving the lives of people, including the vulnerable.
So we head to the nation's capital now, where Gloria Umezuke is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria. Over to you.
Many thanks, Ayo. We begin in Abuja with politics, and the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Mr. Philip Shuaibu, has officially declared his intention to contest the governorship election scheduled for September 21, 2023. The declaration, which follows months of speculations and controversy, was welcomed by party leaders from the various local government areas of the state, who joined Mr. Shuaibu in a brief meeting on Monday morning in Benin City, the Edo State capital.
The branded outfits and excitement of members of this audience hints at the purpose of the assembly in this hall in Benin City, the Edo State capital.
Promote sustainable practice and enhance food security for our state.
The Deputy Governor of Edo State, Mr. Philip Shuaibu, takes a straight walk to the podium, and in no time, every uncertainty is cleared as he delivers his speech.
I fought the good fight for you, my people. Along the way, suffered humiliation, enjoyed many moments of victory, but I am thankful in all things. Have been bruised, but not crushed. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Badly hurt, but not destroyed. I resonate with the tireless, irresponsible spirit of the Edo people. By the grace of God, nothing and no one can stop us. After all, I'm the original Edo son. 100% own boy. This is why today I stand before you with great conviction and resolve, as I declare my intention to run for the office of the governor of Edo State.
The response is all cheers and best wishes. Further unveiling is on the day's schedule of activities. For this, the Deputy Governor and his team moved to another location on Airport Road, also in the state capital. Mr. Shuaibu is greeted with the slogan he's adopted as he proceeds to open his campaign office. A tour of the facility quickly gives way to a brief meeting with leaders and members of the People's Democratic Party from local government areas across the state.
After all the consultation we have made, we needed to now make the answer to our consultation known to Edo people. And the answer is clear. They have asked me to go and run.
The party leaders maintain they find his humility and loyalty particularly impressive. They also allude to his right to contest the governorship election.
What I saw in him is humility. What I saw in him is loyalty. What I saw in him is composition. He's abreast of the problems of our states in the manner that he said it in his declaration.
With the Deputy Governor having officially taken this major step, the days to come would reveal whether it's a movement other stakeholders are ready to take with him.
Well, still to come on the news at 10, President Bola Tinubu reappoints Mili Kyari as the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, alongside 8 other members of the board. Well, that's in business news. Do join us again. Welcome back to the news at 10. In Delta State, Governor Sheriff Oboriwori has promised to undertake only projects that will have direct bearing and improve the lives of residents of the state. The governor was speaking during a groundbreaking ceremony, which, according to him, signals the commencement of construction of 4 key projects in Warri-Efurun axis of the state. He, however, urged the people to bear the inconveniences the construction may bring, underscoring that it will last for a short time but will bring lasting benefits.
It's a jubilant atmosphere at the DSC roundabout, Uwe local government area of Delta State, where the state governor is flagging off the construction of flyover bridges and roads. The state governor, Mr. Sharif Oborewori, is hosting his predecessor, Emmanuel Dwahan, and other important personalities from across the state and beyond to the event. The projects, consisting of 3 flyover bridges, cloverleaf and pedestrian bridges, are expected for delivery in 27 months. This project is one of a kind to the contractor Julius Berger, which is moving high-technology equipment to Delta for this purpose. They promise to keep to the agreed date of completion.
We are gathered here to witness the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction and rehabilitation of 6-kilometer expressway, including interchange and U-turns, construction of flyover at DSC, flyover at PTI Junction, and the flyover from Innerin Junction to Marine Gate.
Residents are already excited over the benefits the projects will bring to them when completed.
We also want to tell you, guarantee you today, I'm standing here on behalf of Uwe Kingdom and also my very good colleague, that is Yolu Ofori. We will make sure that this project is completed without any disturbance in this place.
For the project that costs about 78 billion naira, 25% has been paid already by the state government, and the governor links that to his resolve to fulfilling his campaign promises.
I urge the contractor to work relentlessly to meet the schedule we have agreed to. And I want to assure you, you will get your money as at when due. As we begin the process of giving Warri the desired facelift with this groundbreaking ceremony, which signals the commencement of construction of 4 key projects in the Warri-Efrun metropolis.
Governor Oberwari proceeds with a groundbreaking, promising to replicate this in all senatorial districts of the South state.
The Imo State Police Command has confirmed an attack on a police checkpoint at Ahiara Junction in Ahiazumbise local government area of the state, leaving 2 policemen and a civilian dead. Confirming the incident, the spokesman of the command, Mr. Henry Okoye, says the Commissioner of Police, Aboki Danjuma, Commander 34 Artillery Brigade, and the Joint Task Force operatives have embarked on a combing exercise of the scene of crime for evidence that will possibly lead to the arrest of the hoodlums responsible for the attack. Sources say upon arrival at the junction, the gunmen opened fire on the police and they were killed on the spot, while a stray bullet hit a passerby, leading to his death. Well, that's it from the nation's capital. Back to you, Ayo.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Over 300 distributors have been recognized for their outstanding contributions by Intercontinental Distillers Limited at its annual Distributors Award ceremony. It was a 2-in-1 event as the company also relaunched its Teaser sparkling cocktail drink.
Thank you so much. It's a rewarding ceremony organized by Intercontinental Distillers Limited to honor and appreciate its distributors for their impressive performances in 2022, despite the challenges encountered.
Come on, come on.
The annual IDL Distributors Award provides an opportunity for the company to reinforce its commitment to its customers for their loyalty, as well as relaunch its sparkling cocktail drink, Teasers.
This ceremony also presents us a unique opportunity to pull you, our distributors, out of your daily routines of buying and selling to a beautiful atmosphere to unwind and relax.
Mr. Chairman, sir, you're welcome. Thank you, sir. For the Managing Director, Patrick Anigbe, this year's theme is apt for the ceremony.
We embrace the theme Beyond Limits, which perfectly reflects our collective journey of surpassing boundaries and pushing ourselves to new heights.
One of the highlights of the day is the relaunch of IDL's Teaser Sparkling Cocktail drink, and the head of marketing sets the tone with his speech.
Intercontinental Distillers Limited, equipped with research findings and consumer feedback, rose up to the occasion of closing the gap and has now redefined the category with the revamp and consequently the relaunch of its already existing variants, as well as the new two exciting additions.
And then the award ceremony proper. Over 300 distributors across the country are recognized for their milestones in different categories. The managing director of Ogbohu Nigeria Enterprises, Songota Dorothy Anigbe, emerges as the overall winner this year.
I pray that God should continue to be with them. They will grow from strength to strength, and they will continue to be able to come here to collect awards.
The 2023 Distributors Award ceremony not only celebrates the achievements of marketers of Intercontinental Distillers Limited brands, but also solidifies IDL's position in the wine and spirit industry.
It's now time for some business news with Melinda Akilami.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial star 894 hash now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Many thanks, Ayotunde. Welcome to Business News. The President has reappointed Mr. Amile Kyari as the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. According to a statement released by the Presidency today, President Bola Tinubu also approved the appointment of a new board and management team for the state oil firm with effect from December the 1st. The list includes the NNPCL appointees. We have Mr. Pius Akiyelure as non-executive board chairman, Mr. Umar Ajia as the chief financial officer, Mr. Ledu Mite and Mr. Musa Tumsa, both as non-executive directors. Other non-executive directors appointed on the board include Mr. Gali Mohammed, Professor Mustafa Aliu, Mr. David Obudu, and Mrs. Eunice Thomas. Oil prices weakened today as investors await the outcome of the OPEC Plus meeting, which is postponed from Sunday to Thursday this week, for an agreement expected to curb supplies into 2024. International oil benchmark Brent crude futures fell 0.96% to $79.76 a barrel, while its contemporary, the US WTI crude futures, were lower by 0.87% at $74.88 per barrel. Both contracts rose slightly last week, their first weekly gain in 5 weeks, driven by expectations that Saudi Arabia and Russia could roll over voluntary supply cuts into the new year. Meanwhile, the International Energy Agency says it expects a slight surplus in global oil markets in 2024, even if OPEC Plus nations extend their cuts into the new year. The National Pension Commission says pension fund administrators invested about 130.18 billion naira funds in infrastructure under the scheme as at the end of September this year. According to the figures from its unaudited report, part of the funds were also invested in domestic and foreign ordinary shares, federal and state government securities, and money market instruments, amongst others. In its amended investment regulation, the Commission had highlighted the requirements for investing the funds in line with the provisions of the Pension Reform Act 2014. And outside our shores, the Bank of Ghana has maintained its interest rate for the second time in a row at a record 30%, as it hopes to further lower its inflation rate from its present 35.2%. The country's Apex Bank also increased the cash reserve ratio on bank deposits to 15% from 14%, effective from November the 30th. The BOG Governor, Mr. Ernest Addison, explains that the interest rate was retained at the new level because the disinflation process is expected to continue, supported by the current tight monetary policy stance and relatively stable currency and base drift effects. And back home to the stock market, which begins the final week of November with positive sentiments gaining over 132 billion naira at the close of today's trading session. Laddie Williams has details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, it's the first trading day after the CBN Governor's first policy direction address and the CIBN 58 dinner on Friday. And we see the all-share index opening the first day in the green, 0.17%. First trading day after that, 71,353 for the all-share index. Market cap sitting at 39 trillion. Let's look at the sectoral performance. We see the financial services counter. That's having a big jump there with buy interest, 1.71%. Consumer goods on the flip side down about 1%, 0.99. Oil and gas maintaining the unchanged trend. And we see why the banking counter is up. If we look at the fugas now, we see a lot of action there. FBNH jumping really hard today with buy interest taking it up 10%. And Access Core following with a 4% jump. Zenith Bank not left out, 1.73%. Countering the loss we saw with GTCO down 0.38%. Well, I think investors will be keeping an eye on the financial services stocks going forward, with the CBN governor hinting at recapitalization plans for the banking sector. Analysts say mergers and acquisitions loom, with expectations bank will be looking to increase their capital. Well, that's it from me on the Stock Market Report. I'm Laddie Williams.
Many thanks, Laddie. Now let's find out the closing performance of major global stock markets for Monday.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Many thanks, Melinda. Qatar says Israel and Hamas have agreed to a 2-day extension.
Due to expire on Monday. Today is also the 4th exchange of Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners in 4 days as part of the temporary truce deal. As part of the Israel-Hamas deal, 39 Israeli hostages in Gaza have been released so far, with 117 Palestinians freed from Israeli jails. Further lorry loads of humanitarian supplies have entered the Gaza Strip with food, fuel and medicine being distributed by aid organizations. Israelis in Tel Aviv here voicing their support for the extension of the 4-day truce between the two warring sides to bring more hostages home.
As long as we keep on getting them back home, I want the ceasefire to continue.
You know, when you strike deals when you have some mutual interest, and as long as Hamas has an interest to get ceasefire because of military pressure or other reasons, they will be paying for that, if you will, with hostages and to get the ceasefire. So I'm optimistic it will be extended, at least for now, as long as they can provide the hostages back.
A 48-year-old man has been arrested and appeared in court over the shooting of 3 U.S. students of Palestinian descent in Vermont. Hisham Awatani, Tashin Ali and Kinan Abdi-Ahmed were shot near the University of Vermont in Burlington on Saturday. While all 3 victims survived, they are currently receiving medical care. The U.S. government is looking into whether the shooting was a hate crime. A man named Jason J. Eaton has been taken into custody after a search of his home. 6 teenagers have gone on trial behind closed doors accused of involvement in the beheading of a French history teacher, Samuel Paty, by a suspected Islamist in 2020. The attack struck at the heart of the country's secular values. It was after the teacher had shown his pupils cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad in a class on freedom of expression, angering a number of Muslim parents. Muslims believe that any depiction of the Prophet is blasphemous. It's been alleged that the United Arab Emirates planned to use its role as the host of UN climate talks as an opportunity to strike oil and gas deals. Leaked briefing documents reveal plans to discuss fossil fuel deals with 15 nations. The UN body responsible for the COP28 summit says hosts were expected to act without bias or self-interest. The UAE team did not deny using COP28 meetings for business talks and said private meetings are private. It declined to comment on what was discussed in the meetings and said its work has been focused on meaningful climate action. A severe snowstorm and strong winds have blanketed Ukraine, leaving more than 2,000 settlements across 16 regions without power and more than a dozen motorways closed to vehicles. The extreme weather comes as tens of thousands of troops man frontline positions in the 21-month-old war with Russia, and amid fears Moscow could target the power grid with airstrikes this winter. At least 1,370 cargo trucks were stuck and 840 cars had to be towed away amid snowdrifts. On Sunday, the mayor of the Black Sea port of Odessa urged residents to stay at home. Gunmen in Sierra Leone have attacked a military barracks and freed hundreds of prisoners in a coordinated and properly planned attack, that's according to the president. Sierra Leoneans spent Sunday under a nationwide curfew amid disarray in the capital city, Freetown.
In the early hours of this morning,
in a televised address, Sierra Leone's president says calm has been restored, with most leaders of the barracks attack detained. And a Christmas tree has been put up in front of London's Houses of Parliament exactly 1 month before Christmas Day. According to Forestry England, the tree is a 40-foot Sitka spruce and was felled in Kielder Forest in Northumberland. The organisation said it was selected from among 150 million trees. It was transported over 530 kilometres to take pride of place in front of Big Ben throughout the festive period. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks, Simon. All right, let's stand by now for some sports news, and Jeffrey Uzono is already here. Jeffrey, over to you.
Thanks, Ayo. Ultimum Limited has announced its prestigious partnership as the exclusive official sports soft drink brand of next year's Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. This collaboration marks a significant milestone, aligning Razzle with the most eagerly anticipated football event in Africa.
Exciting. With less than 2 months to the start of the Africa Cup of Nations, Ultimum Limited holds a press conference in Lagos to announce the partnership of the Confederation of Africa Football, CAF, with their product, Razzle Soft Drink.
You will dazzle with Razzle.
Customers, journalists, football fans, dignitaries, and ex-internationals are all in attendance.
Keep it going, keep it going.
Razzle, a soft drink taking Nigeria by storm, is the official soft drink of the Africa Cup of Nations to be held next year.
When you look at Razzle as a brand in terms of brand essence, it's really about connecting with our consumers, connecting with our target consumers. So what else? How else can you connect with our target consumers except through exciting moments like AFCON and partnering with CAF? So one of our goals basically is to support African football.
By entering the market this year, Razzle Soft Drink is determined to give their customers a unique football experience.
When you want to create exciting moments, you need some refreshment. So Razzle will be right at the heart of the refreshing moments during the AFCON. From the 13th of January to the 11th of February, Razzle is going to be there to refresh spectators. Razzle is going to be there to refresh the officials. Razzle is going to be there to refresh the players, right from their hotel rooms down to the field of play.
In addition, an all-expense-paid trip to the Nations Cup and a $1 million prize money will be given to the winner of a freestyle football competition.
Amazing. What's he about to do? Wow. Wow. Freestyle football.
The partnership highlights the commitment of Razzle to create memorable experiences.
I am amazed because the first thing that caught my attention was when I came in and said official sponsor of the CAF Africa Cup of Nations. I'm like, how? I Googled that up. I'm like,
That is serious, because this is just a very young brand, as we heard, that started up in July this year. So we're talking about 6 months or thereabouts behind, and now they are the official sponsor of the CAF Africa Cup of Nations for 2023. That is audacious.
Apart from the competition is one, you know, the official drinks, and on the other hand, fans are also participating. So I think I find it very interesting. I find it very good. It's nice.
For Ultimum Limited, celebrating the love for football and contributing to an ambience that unites fans is the ultimate goal.
Well, it's now down to 10 players contending for the African Women Footballer of the Year award, and gladly our girls, including current holder Azizat Oshola and Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie, made the shortlist for this year's award. The 9-time African champions, the Super Falcons, initially had 7 of its players in the 30-player shortlist that was unveiled by CAF 2 weeks ago. The awards gala night will take place on December the 11th in Morocco. Newcastle manager Eddie Hall says Tuesday's night match against PSG will be a defining moment in their Champions League campaign. Newcastle must overcome a mounting injury list if the Magpies' first foray into the Champions League for 20 years is not to come to a premature end.
I think it's good to have all those mixture of emotions going into a match. I think we need to play on the edge. I think we're at our best. I think every team is at their best when they have that different emotion running through them. So I expect that from the players tomorrow. We're going to need every ounce of motivation, energy to get a result here. This is a defining moment in our Champions League campaign. We're well aware of where we sit in the group and you know what can happen tomorrow. So we're going to give it everything.
And that's it on Sports. Ayotunde is back to you.
Many thanks, Jeffrey. And the main news again. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukayode Ariwola, today asked judges to maintain the integrity of the judiciary and remain fair and firm in their judgments. President Bola Tinubu will on Wednesday present the 2024 Appropriation Bill to the National Assembly, just as the Federal Executive Council has approved the sum of 27.5 trillion naira for next year's budget. And Qatar has announced an agreement to extend the Gaza humanitarian truce for an additional 2 days. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. You have a good night and please stay safe.